There's a mistake 8 out of 10 people who take insulin are making right now. And here's the strange part. You were taught to do it. It feels responsible. It looks careful. But it might be quietly pushing your blood sugar the wrong way every single day. It's hiding in the one habit nobody ever thought to question. And I'll show you exactly what it is. Let me tell you a short scenario that happens with most people with diabetes. And I want you to tell me in the comments, has this ever happened to you too, or not? You ate the same food, took the same amount of insulin as always, but your blood sugar still went too high, or dropped too low. And you're left thinking, what did I do wrong? Here's the truth. Maybe nothing. Maybe it was never about your food or your dose at all. It was one small habit you didn't even know was a problem. In the next few minutes, I'll show you not only one, but 4 of these little mistakes. Starting with the fridge one, which I think is the biggest mistake diabetics make. Stick with me, because the third one can actually be dangerous. Now, without wasting any time, let me reveal the first and the biggest mistake diabetics make. If you keep your insulin in the fridge and take it out right before your shot, stop doing this. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Storing your extra unopened insulin in the fridge? That's exactly right. Keep doing that. But the pen you're using every day, the one you grab, click, and inject, that one should not be cold. And this feels like the right thing to do, because people with diabetes are always told one thing: insulin should be kept in a cool place. So what's the problem? 2 things. First, cold insulin hurts. When you push cold liquid into warm skin, it stings and burns. And that pain quietly trains you to choose the same, less painful spot again and again. In a minute, I'll also explain why that favorite spot starts feeling less painful in the first place. But first, let's understand what this cold insulin is doing. Second, and this is the big one, cold insulin doesn't always work the way you expect. Coming in cold, it can be absorbed slower and less evenly than insulin that's at room temperature. Slower and uneven means your blood sugar becomes harder to predict. High some days, low on others, even when you did everything else right. So here's the fix, and it's free. The pen you're currently using? Keep it out of the fridge, at normal room temperature. Take it out of the box and let it live on your counter or in a drawer. Make sure to check your pen's own label, because most are good at room temperature for around a month, and never leave it somewhere hot like a sunny windowsill or a hot car. Your spare pens still go in the fridge, only the one you're actually using stays out. In my own clinical practice, based on what I see in my clinic, almost 8 out of 10 people are making this same mistake. And honestly, that is the reason I decided to make this video today. At first, I used to think, this is such a basic thing. Maybe hardly anyone is doing it wrong. But when I started seeing the numbers again and again, they told a very different story. So today, I want to explain this clearly, because this small mistake is much more common than most people realize. So why does one small thing cause so much trouble? Because it isn't just one shot. It's every shot. Every single day. Think of it like a tiny leak in a tire. One drive, you'd never notice. But leave that leak for weeks, and slowly, quietly, the tire goes flat. That's what this does in the background. A little bit off, over and over, adding up without a sound. And here's the sneaky part. Because you can't see the real cause, you go hunting for the wrong one. Your number's off, so you think, must have been the rice. Maybe I need a little more insulin next time. So you start changing your food. You start changing your dose. But you were never fixing the real problem. So now everything gets more confusing and even harder to control. Simply put, you're chasing a shadow. There is a simple blood test called HbA1c. It tells us your average sugar level over the last 2 to 3 months. You can think of it like your diabetes report card. And one study found something interesting. People who kept the insulin they were currently using in the fridge had worse sugar control. But many of them did not realize why. They kept blaming the food, the dose, or their routine, without knowing that this fridge habit could also be playing a role. But the fridge isn't the only habit hiding in plain sight. The next one is sneakier, because you probably think you're already doing it right. In fact, you were told to do it. You've probably heard it 100 times. Don't inject in the same spot. Move it around. Doctors call it rotating. And it's good advice. But here's what nobody explains. There's a wrong way to move it around. and it can cause the exact blood sugar highs and lows you're trying to avoid. Let me show you. Your body has a few main areas people use for insulin: your belly, your arms, and your thighs. And here's the secret: those areas are not the same. Insulin soaks in fast from your belly, but from your thigh or your arms, much slower. So imagine what happens. Monday, you inject in your belly, and the insulin comes in quick. Tuesday, you switch to your thigh, and now it comes in slow. Same food, same dose. But your body got the insulin at two totally different speeds. So you get a high one day and a low the next, and you have no idea why. It gets trickier. If you inject in your leg and then go for a walk or play, your moving muscles pull that insulin in even faster. So the same leg can behave differently depending on your day. So what's the fix? Don't jump all over your body randomly. Instead, pick one area, say your belly, and stay in that area for a while, just moving over a tiny bit each time, like coloring in a square inch by inch. When that area needs a rest, then move to the next one and stay there. Same area, same speed, more predictable numbers. Remember, when you decide to change your injection spot, that also comes with its own problem. It gives you a surprise, and that surprise can even become dangerous if you don't know about it. What is that surprise? Let me explain. When you inject insulin into the same little spot over and over, that spot slowly turns lumpy and hard under the skin. And here's the problem. Insulin doesn't soak in well from a lumpy spot. A lot of it gets stuck and wasted. So without ever realizing it, your body may have gotten used to only part of each dose actually working. Now, say you finally do the smart thing and move your shot over to fresh and healthy skin after watching this video. Great move. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. But watch what happens. On healthy skin, insulin soaks in the way it's meant to. Suddenly the whole dose is working, not just part of it. That's more insulin hitting you than your body is used to, and that can drop your blood sugar too low too fast. So here's what to do. When you switch to fresh skin, don't quietly keep taking the exact same amount. Talk to your doctor or diabetes nurse first. They can help you lower your dose a little as you move to healthy spots. Moving to a fresh spot is the right thing to do. Just make sure you do it with your doctor's guidance, so your insulin dose can be adjusted safely. Now, here's the last mistake, and it's a sneaky one, because it's not about where you inject side to side. It's about how deep the needle goes. Insulin is supposed to go into the soft, fatty layer just under your skin. Think of that layer like a sponge. It holds the insulin and lets it soak into your body nice and steady, exactly the way it's meant to. But underneath that soft layer is muscle. And muscle is a whole different story. Muscle has way more blood flowing through it, so if your needle goes in too deep and hits the muscle, the insulin doesn't soak in slowly anymore. It rushes in fast. And that sudden rush can drop your blood sugar too low, or leave your sugar numbers jumping all over the place. So how do you avoid insulin going into the muscle? Two simple things. First, check your insulin needle size. Look at the needle box or packet. Usually the size is written on it. For most people using insulin pens, a 4 mm needle is usually the best and safest option because it helps the insulin go into the fat layer, not the muscle. But one small mistake many people make is this. They place the needle too flat on the skin. Don't do that. Place the needle straight on the skin at a 90-degree angle. Because if you lay it too flat, the insulin may not reach the fat layer properly, and absorption can become unreliable. Second, look at your body type and the area where you inject. If you have enough fat or padding in that area, you can usually inject straight in at 90 degrees. But if you are thin, or you are injecting in an area with very little fat, gently pinch up a small fold of skin first. That pinch lifts the fat layer away from the muscle, so the insulin stays where it belongs, under the skin, in the fat layer. So let's quickly bring it all together. The pen you're using each day shouldn't live in the fridge. Keep it at room temperature. Don't jump all over your body. Stay in one area and move over just a little at a time. And use a short 4 mm needle so your insulin lands in the soft, fatty layer, not the muscle. Now, everything I shared with you today comes from real mistakes I've watched people make again and again in my own practice. That's the reason I made this video in the first place. So if any of this helped you, please tap that like button. And if you know someone living with diabetes, share this with them. It could genuinely change their day. My goal is to reach at least 1 million people living with diabetes around the world. If you'd like to help me get there, hit subscribe or follow button. Another big problem in diabetics is the sugar spike after meals. And one thing I do with my patients is very simple. I change their eating order. Then I add 2 small steps, one before eating and one after eating. Over the years, I've seen very positive results with this, and in many patients, post-meal sugar spikes can come down by up to 50%. That's a huge difference. So if you want to know this eating order and those 2 steps, watch the video appearing on your screen now.